Brandon Peary is blistering hot for the Panthers. He's become the sniper this team has been looking for. On defense, Aaron Ekblad leads the Panthers in scoring. His remarkable rookie season rolls on in a big game in Toronto. Embattled Leafs captain Dion Phaneuf leads the way for the struggling Leafs. The Panthers look to take advantage tonight. From Toronto, Panthers hockey is on the air. The Cats look to get back on the winning side, and Roberto Luongo looks to continue his personal mastery of the Maple Leafs. He's 12-1 in his last 13 decisions versus Toronto. And tonight is a huge night in the playoff race. Everybody around the Panthers is in action. We'll keep you updated on the scores. The Panthers trying to take care of their own business and pick up 2 big points. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Goldstein, along with Hall of Famer Denny Potvin. Bill Lindsay will join us as well. Little bit of housekeeping. Steven Camper back in the Panther lineup on defense tonight. Sean Thornton back in up front. Unfortunately, Nick Bjugstad continues to be out. But Denny, that line, the entire NHL is talking about it. Jaromir Jagr and his 2 young line mates who are emerging right now.
I tell you what, under the tutelage of Jagr, they've gotten a lot better. But I like to go back to Vancouver, just like Coach Gallant has mentioned several times. Huberdeau and Barkov were starting to show a lot of improvement early in 2:15. There you see how Huberdeau's going to the net. This next play certainly will show you what it's like, kids. Shoot the puck and then follow it to the net. Huberdeau gets his rebound and puts it away. His line mate Barkov, well, I tell you what, he's even younger, but he's getting stronger and better all the time. This wrist shot was a game winner, and I tell you what, Barkov is looking pretty good along with teammates. Huberdeau, they're both going at the net, and it's paying off.
In a lot of these games lately, wins and losses, Denny, we've seen the Panthers skate toe-to-toe with some of the speediest teams in the NHL. How's that factored in for this team?
You know what, Goldie, I've said it many times. I think speed is going to be the factor that's going to win the Stanley Cup, more so than brawn. And the Florida Panthers have shown, hey, not only to us, but to all the teams that they've played, they can break out with speed. They're fast around the outside. You see against Dallas. Take a look at the speed, the factor again against Carolina as the Florida Panthers show they can skate with the best teams in the league. Even the Detroit Red Wings, as Upshaw puts it away for the game winner.
All right, the Lexus keys to tonight's game for a win against Toronto. We're joined by the coach, Gerard Gallant.
When we forecheck and we have good gaps in the neutral zone, we're a pretty good team. Them are the 2 biggest things that I find when we do real well, we play real well. And like I said, I'm real happy with our game overall. We made some mistakes last game that cost us goals, but besides that, again, we played pretty well.
Well, he continues to climb up the NHL's all-time charts. And Jaromir Jagr continues to impact his young line mates. Bill Lindsay is next, and we'll hear from Jagr. Coming up, it's the Panthers and the Maple Leafs. Panthers hockey on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by your South Florida Lexus dealers. Proud sponsor of the Lexus Rink at the BB&T Center. By ADT, the most trusted name in security. Call 1-800-510-9067 for your free ADT quote. And by Subway, visit Subway.com. Subway, skate hard, eat fresh. We get set for action here at the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, and we go ice side. Good evening to Billy Lindsay.
Thanks, Goldie. The Panthers road trip rolls on tonight as they play the Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs are struggling. They've lost 6 games in a row. And tonight, the focus for the Panthers, the old man, Jaromir Jagr, still getting it done at the age of 43. He's been invaluable to this hockey team. The 12 games since he's been here, the Panthers have played some good hockey. Jagr has 8 points in 11 games. That line with Barkov and Huberdeau is combined for 8 goals, 17 assists, 25 points since he's come aboard. Invaluable. See the instructions on the ice, off the ice. He's led by example. You love what he brings to the team. Our Cleveland Clinic players to watch the numbers for Jagr. Jagr playing in game 1,542 for the Maple Leafs. Casey Bailey signed out of the University of Penn State, undrafted, had a choice of teams. He chose the Maple Leafs. See what happens tonight. He's playing in game number 1. But Goldie, the Maple Leafs have struggled out of the gate. They've been outscored 24-5 in the first period, the last 13 games. Panthers got to come out, jump on this struggling Maple Leaf team right away. Back to you.
Thanks, Billy. For the Panthers, 23-year-old Brandon Peary continues to score. A remarkable run with 15 goals in his last 21 games. Phil Kessel having a tough time of it in Toronto, but he's always dangerous. We'll drop the puck next. Here we go, game 2 of a 5-game road trip for the Panthers, who begin play tonight. 5 points behind the 8th place Ottawa Senators. Let's take a look inside the nets. Our BB&T goalie matchup tonight.
Well, for the visiting Florida Panthers, Roberto Luongo, certainly no stranger to the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's played them 24 times. 17 of those have been victories. But as we move along, he would love to make this number 18. On the other side, Jonathan Bernier. He has played a considerable amount of games lately for the team. He was the one who got the win in Florida on March 3rd. So they're back with Jonathan Bernier.
And the line that the entire NHL is talking about, 19-year-old Alexander Barkov, as we talked about in the open, along with Jonathan Huberdeau and Jaromir Jagr all on the ice together. As we get set and Jagr races right in over the blue line. Huberdeau down low with Brewer. Barkov joins in. Jagr with Bozak in the corner. Popped up the boards. Huberdeau gives to Jagr again. Jagr double teamed and Kessel with a steal. Kessel down the wing. Campbell right there with him. Final meeting of the regular season between these two teams. Panthers have won 2 out of 3. Huberdeau moves in, one-on-one with Brewer. Huberdeau, drop pass, Campbell shoots, and Bernier with a save. Baptist Health has our scratches tonight. We touched on it in the open. There's the full list. Eric Goodbranson sitting it out tonight. Gerard Gallant wanting to give Stephen Kampfer a game. Bukestad still day-to-day with injury. Kopetsky and Montoya out as well.
Well, there you see Eric Goodbranson did not have a game against Tampa Bay. Gerard Gallant did not hide the fact to us that, you know, you've got extra defensemen. If you're struggling a little bit, give somebody else a chance. If you're talking about missing games, it's not bad at all. Just ask Jimmy Hayes what it's like to every now and then get sat out. He comes back and scores almost every time. By the way, Hayes, 2 goals on the season against these Leafs.
Morgan Riley with a shot that goes wide. Work along the boards here, and David Booth able to hold it in the zone. He's had a good month of March, Booth has. Only scored 1 goal entering the month and has come up here with 5 goals in 5 games a few weeks ago. Here's Brandon Peary sliding in the drop, and Bolin moving and put it on the backhand and deflected into the corner. Bolin spent last season here with the Maple Leafs. Here's Kampfer getting back, paired up with Dmitry Kulikov on defense. Try to catch the Leafs in the change. Bolin flips one wide. Kulikov. Down low for Boys. He and Jokinen were good the other night in Tampa. Boys couldn't handle the pass. They play it back to Kulikov. Kampfer with a wrister. That kicked off to the corner. And McWilliam for the Leafs gets it out to center. A little bump there by Dave Bolin. Goes and throws it over the line. Panik down the wing as a man in front. Komarov had to go off his stick, didn't get to the net.
This first period has been brutal for the Leafs. Since January 1st, they've been outscored 50-17 in the first period. Panthers got to jump on this team early.
Now a steal there by Kulikov. Panthers have scored first in 6 of their last 8 games.
Hey, Billy, how about the Panthers having to make their own noise in this building? It's deadly quiet.
It is quiet, and you can definitely quiet this crowd with an early goal. They'll get on the Leafs early. If they fall behind, you'll hear the Boo Birds come out quickly.
The last home game for the first time in a long time. It was not announced as a sellout. And there's empty seats here tonight, as you know, about all the Leafs' struggles after, amazingly, what was a good start to the season for them. The first 3 months of the season, Toronto Maple Leafs were 21-18-3. Amazingly, they've won 6 times since. That's it.
They had 21 wins in 2014. In 2015, only 6 wins, as you just pointed out. Amazing.
Well, here's one of the motivators that I would have anyway. Toronto Maple Leafs have won 1 game on the road in 2015, and guess where that was? South Florida against the Florida Panthers, the 3-2 victory. Only 1 victory in 23 road games, and that came at the expense of the Florida Panthers. How about that for motivation?
That was the tough goalie game, of course.
Yeah.
Jagr moves in, puts it out in front, and it went off the back of the leg of Van Riemsdyk, who was right there with Barkov. Phil Kessel now goes into the Panther zone. Brad Boys is back.
A lot of inexperience in this Leaf lineup, too. Casey Bailey playing in his first NHL game. They got a lot of youngsters. Panthers have to use that to their advantage.
They got a lot of guys banged up in this Toronto lineup. Like Peter Holland, Trevor Smith. Back on defense, Stefan Robidas. Kadri serving the last game of his suspension. Here's Bozak, blocked away by Jokinen on the centering attempt. But now it's played up to the point. Eriksson throws one wide of Luongo's net. Kessel behind McCabe. Petrovic works on him and knocks it free. Petrovic has played so well since his call-up. Boys try to get out of the zone, but they couldn't. It's bouncing around at the blue line, and it was touched with a high stick, so a whistle.
You know, Billy just talked about the inexperience on the back line for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Well, look at how this play develops. The Florida Panthers here find a huge opening. When does this happen? This is a huge gap. And Huberdeau, as he has in the past, he finds the open man. Here comes Campbell. That was a terrific chance. And that was off the opening shift. Campbell getting a perfect opportunity on Bernier, but just couldn't beat the goal.
Maple Leafs had 4 players on one side of the ice. Left all kinds of room for Campbell.
Lupul in the offensive zone. Flips it down low through Booth. McKegg now on emergency call-up. Lupul hits Trocheck. McKegg throws the body at Kulikov, but Hayes works it free, and Trocheck has some open ice. Trocheck cuts in. Ooh, just out of the reach of Hayes. Good cross-ice look by Vincent Trocheck. And Booth trying to clear, but Trocheck keeps it in again. Now Morgan Riley slides out to center. Up on the wing, gets through to Booth, who gets it deep, and the Leafs go for a change. Just over 5 minutes in here on Fox Sports Florida. Back with you Saturday night at 7 from Montreal. And then the Panthers back-to-back games against Ottawa and Boston. The 2 teams right ahead of them in the East. McKenzie for Ekblad moving in. Down low, here's Upshaw. Couldn't get a clean shot off. Thornton takes a swipe at it. Bernier with a save. Stolen by McKenzie as they hold it in the zone. Then McKenzie double team. And Phaneuf is able to clear.
Well, that back pass, folks, was not made by a rookie.
Oh, and then Thornton and Phaneuf in behind the play have a little something going. Puck was touched with a high stick, so a whistle.
Well, you know, you never discount emotions in the game, and that's why Thornton is in this lineup right now, because, you know, the Leafs obviously want to try and get out of the funk that they're in. They want to try and do better, and their leader in Phaneuf is going to try and stir up some emotion, but he's not going to drop him. Not against John Thornton, I don't believe.
I don't believe that either.
Yeah.
Phaneuf does have 104 penalty minutes on the season to lead the Leafs. It's been a tough season for the Leafs captain. Frustrating season.
Well, I mean, you saw that back pass, Billy, inside their own blue line by Richard Panik. I mean, this guy's no rookie. I mean, it's an unbelievable bad decision to make at any time of the hockey game.
Well, it's their core that has really let the Leafs down. Bozak, Kessel, James Van Riemsdyk. They're plus-minus. All 3 of those players have a plus-minus rating worse than -30. Unbelievable.
Whistle and a stoppage. Fox Sports Supports is teaming up with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America to help young people reach their full potential through programs that promote character, leadership, education, and more. For more information, visit foxsportssupports.com. Both the Bruins and Ottawa Senators in action tonight as well. First period, those games are scoreless. As is this one.
You know, Billy, you talk about that line. They're -103 together. And so I went and did a little research with the help of friends here and found out that the next worst line, meaning the trio, that is a minus, is in Edmonton. The line of Roy, Purcell, and Yakupov. But they're only -73. So they're 29 minuses better than this top line for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So there's a lot of work to be done here in Toronto to turn this team around.
They're calling a penalty here on Alexander Barkov off the faceoff.
Number 16, minor penalty, playing the puck with the hand.
Oh, they'll say he touched it with his hand, which you're not allowed to do anymore this year after the faceoff. Let's take a look.
Oh, boy. He missed it with the glove. Oh, wait a minute.
That's a skinny call. He just kind of hit his glove on the way up.
Well, his glove was on the stick, so he's trying to hit it with the stick.
He bumped it, yeah.
So the glove theoretically should be part of the stick, and that's probably what Gerard Gallant is explaining. He didn't take his hand off the stick and play it.
You know what? Yeah, it was a hand on the puck penalty, but the hand wasn't open. And had that puck been 2 feet in the air, it would not have been a call. So it's an interesting way to look at this, and you know, those are the little things that make people take a look at rules the second and third time and see if there should be any amendment.
I like the rule. I just didn't think it was applied real well there. So the Leafs on the power play here early on. Panthers did not take a penalty the other night in Tampa. They've killed 28 of their last 30. They've been super on the PK. Trying to come up big here. And this is Kessel. They've got Van Riemsdyk out in front. The shot deflected on goal. Great save by Luongo as Bozak in front got a stick on it.
Now, that was a heck of a setup play. There's a lot of offensive talent here in Toronto. And you know what? If you let them open up, they can show it. What's going to happen here is that was Kessel who shot the puck towards Bozak. He's looking to get a deflection in front of the net as Van Riemsdyk positioning. There you see 21 in black. And Roberto Luongo really had to struggle just to find the puck. And it came on a deflection as well. So that's a solid save on a power play that has been pretty successful against the Florida Panthers. One of the few teams this season that has had multiple power play goals against the Panthers are these Leafs.
Bolin won the draw. They get a clear. It's Jokinen with Bolin. Kampfer and Kulikov back on defense. Leafs have allowed 7 shorthanded goals this season. One of the bigger numbers in the NHL. Panthers do not have one this year. The only team in the league without one, although they have come up so close the last few weeks. Couple of posts have been hit by UC Jokinen and Derek McKenzie. Kessel all the way in over the line. Sends it around for Fanook. Bozak with a spin. Maintains possession. Van Riemsdyk out in front of Luongo. Kessel now. Moving in, and he takes a shot. Stick save by Luongo. It stays in play, and McKenzie slots it down the ice.
Leafs have actually allowed 12 shorthanded goals. That's the most in the NHL.
Not my error. Thank you, Billy.
Not bad, but yes, but they have given up the most shorthanded goals in the whole league.
Well, if there's a night to do it, this may be it. Although the Panthers don't want to have any opportunity after they do it. They had their druthers. So another clear there. Final seconds of the Barkov penalty. Toronto 2 shots against Luongo on the power play. And we're back to even strength. Gardner moves in. Good block by Willie Mitchell, who went down. And Barkov gives to Brandon Pirri, racing with Trocheck. Pirri cuts in. Couldn't get it to Trocheck on the backhand. Booth got a piece of that puck, and it rolls into Luongo's crease, and he will cover up. Early on in Toronto, the Panthers and the Leafs are scoreless.
I know the Leafs and Panthers scoreless early here in the first period, and Jaromir Jagr's seen a lot of hockey and seen a lot of hockey players, and he was asked about this Panther team and the future this morning, and this was his answer that we caught up with him.
You know, it's a very, very talented team. I think this year, this team's gonna, hopefully we can get in, but it's gonna be tough because Ottawa, playing very well. But next year or year after that, this team is gonna surprise a lot of teams.
Interesting thoughts from Jaromir Jagr on a conversation. You remember when they made the trade, Dale Talon, Panther general manager, said, yeah, some conversation about maybe him sticking around here, and boy, he seems to be having a real good time, enjoying himself playing with Huberdeau and Barkov.
You can't play like that if you're not having fun, and that's the one thing that's amazing. I tell you what, there's a guy named Kovalchuk, who people know the name. He's over there in the KHL, and the rumors that he wants to try and come back to the NHL. Maybe watching the success of Jaromir Jagr is one of the decisions for Kovalchuk maybe to come back. Biggest one is KHL is quickly losing a lot of money.
Trocheck gathers it in its center. Trocheck centering Pirri and Hayes. Young line for the Panthers. Well, the 21-year-old Trocheck in the middle in the absence of Nick Bjugstad. Hayes gets it down the wing, but was cut off by Brewer. Hayes putting the pressure on Brewer. Trocheck with Booth now. Hayes over again. It comes free. Brandon Pirri's loose. Saved by Bernier. Campbell the rebound. He missed high. Oh, Campbell had a look after Bernier made the save on the hot Pirri. Pirri knocks it free, but then it's cleared all the way down.
Oh, my. It appeared as though Brian Campbell has had the best 2 chances, but this one, there was no goalie in the net, and he missed the net. Oh, boy. Well, maybe a replay will do him a little more justice, because from our angle, it looked like the rebound, which I call the best pass in hockey, may left him with an open net, and he missed the net.
Steal by Kulikov at center. Yager quickly. The pass goes through Barkov, though. Panik fights through the check, but Kulikov slowed him down, and the play goes offside.
Well, we've got to show this. I mean, Peary, you know he's going to shoot the puck, so it's a heck of a play for Campbell to come in on the play. But take a look. I mean, that was Bernier was out of the net. Bernier had taken himself totally out of the net, and unfortunately, that shot just sailed above the net. 2 excellent chances. I wouldn't be surprised if we're not watching Chris Moody there going back to get another stick for Brian Campbell. Maybe that one's not shooting him real well right now.
Komarov puts it in front and redirected. I think it hit Kulikov's stick, and Luongo able to cover up. Well, pushing and shoving, Panik and Kampfer. Timeout midway through the first in Toronto. We remain scoreless. Well, this was the scene. Former NHLer Lanny McDonald with our own Denny Potvin. Lanny, the new chairman of the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto, in our first intermission. Denny will take us inside the hall. Always a great treat to go through the Hockey Hall of Fame. Did you have a good time over there?
I tell you, it was great. And what a surprise, too. I mean, you know, Chris Cugero and I went over there to get it done, and Lanny was there. It happened to be the day they made the big announcement that Lanny McDonald was going to take over as chairman of the hall. And, you know, as we know, Pat Quinn passed away a few months ago, so big shoes to fill, Lanny said, and I certainly agreed with him. Lanny McDonald, 1973, he was a first-rounder. He came up same year I did. He was with the Toronto Maple Leafs, quite a competitor. One of the sad moments of the Islander career. 1978, we were beaten in the playoffs, Game 7. Lanny McDonald scored the overtime goal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you discuss that over there? Or
No,
I
I actually tried to forget about it.
There you go. There's the last time the Leafs. It's been a long time between cups. They're approaching 50 years here in Toronto.
Maybe the best mustache of all time, Lanny McDonald.
No doubt about it. 500 goals. Won the Stanley Cup with Calgary in his very last season and scored a huge goal, contributing to Calgary winning the Cup. That was against the Montreal Canadiens. So really a terrific story for Lanny, and what an appropriate choice. Resident of Calgary, always been a Western boy.
Has a summer home in Big Fork, Montana. I get to see him on occasion.
You, Lanny, and
go.
Phil Jackson all hanging out there. Phil Jackson's out in Lindsay neighborhood. There's a shot from the point that on the backhand from Lidstrom got through and went wide. Carrick now down low. Fourth line for the Leafs here. Spent a little time in the Panther zone. Finally, Bolin takes away. And Brad Boyes looking ahead, able to clear. Jokinen tracks it down. Toronto back defensively. And Morgan Riley gets a little space. Boyes flushes him out. Riley, good-looking young defenseman here in Toronto. Upshaw on the clear for McKenzie. Return pass, Upshaw offside though. Don't miss the Panthers' next home game. They're coming back next Thursday night to take on the Carolina Hurricanes. It starts the final regular season homestand. Be there at the BB&T Center. Ticket reps are standing by, so call now, 954-835-PUCK. See those 4 games, and then April 11th, Saturday, regular season finale against the New Jersey Devils. And the Panthers 5 points out of a playoff spot heading into action tonight.
You know, I think if you wanted to script a road trip before the end of the season, this works out really well.
Steal here, McKenzie, oh, and Bernier made the save. He just got a piece of it. This is the second of the 5-game road trip. Panthers will play Ottawa and Boston, and then Boston again at home. Kampfer rushes up the wing. Shot blocked. Lupul had some trouble with it, but is able to clear. Panthers have had some good looks on goal. That one right there.
Yeah.
Peary, Campbell, as you mentioned.
And they all came in different ways, you know. One was just a good play when Campbell got his first shot on goal. This one here was a turnover forced by the line mate Upshaw. McKenzie getting a great shot on goal. And then, of course, the rebound off of the Peary shot. Campbell missing high.
Van Riemsdyk comes right in front. Luongo the save. He gets run over. Where's the puck? It's still loose, and they blow the whistle. And Luongo, you see him with his arms up, wondering it's Campbell that's in behind him. So not sure who exactly barreled over Roberto Luongo with Campbell there in the net cam.
Well, I think the position of Campbell will absolve Van Riemsdyk of any maldoing. The way they look at this, really, and it's getting more and more important, obviously, with the injuries, but did Van Riemsdyk do his best to not run into the goaltender? And I think you see that Van Riemsdyk pretty much stopped.
I agree.
You know, I mean, he pretty much stopped. Right here, watch. Boom. Now he gets pushed in, and it's actually Campbell who does the pushing. So, you know, this is not anywhere near Riemsdyk getting an interference call on the goaltender. No call, which is a good call.
Good job by the officials there.
Yeah. But you've got to be careful. That poor goaltenders.
Phaneuf hammers one wide. Put right in front. It comes to Phaneuf again. And a wrist shot. Luongo the save. Barkov over to Jagr.
Boy, that's a little bit of a scramble after a lost faceoff, isn't it? A couple of chances there that you don't want to give up. You know, there's not a lot of time left in the first period. This is still an even game. Not exactly what the Florida Panthers were hoping for.
He's played well in a 2-1 loss to Minnesota earlier this week.
Yeah, it's none of the local papers that might have been one of the best games they played in the year 2000.
Well, considering the way
or 2015.
Yeah, considering the way the Wild's been playing. They were right there with them, and they had some chances in the third to get that game tied. Ekblad trying to get one through, cut off by Van Riemsdyk. Campbell back.
What I was trying to make with the schedule is you got to win here, and then you go into Montreal where the Panthers have played very well. And the fact is now you're playing.
Peary's got a look. Glove save by Bernier.
Now you're playing Boston and Ottawa head on. What if you win those games in regulation? That's huge. So the Florida Panthers could really be in a much better position at the end of this road trip with a few wins, and it has to start tonight. This has got to be a win for the Florida Panthers. You call those must-wins. Well, you can triple that must. This is where they really need to get a regulation win, and they know it.
Stolen away at the blue line, and Jimmy Hayes was attacked there by Panik and couldn't get it moving the other way. Komarov sends it all the way down, and they wave off icing. Komarov got there first. Jake Gardner at the point, turns, blocked by the hand of Trocheck. Kozin takes it away. Panik puts it in front. Peary there to cover in the high slot. Peary with a clear up ahead, off the tape for Jimmy Hayes, though. Hayes hounding Gardner. Gardner, good play to get free. 2-on-2 as he breaks in with Kozin. Hanford blocked the pass. Kozin picks up the puck, has a man in front, and Panik misses high. And it goes out of play. 5:35 to go here in the first in Toronto. They remain scoreless. His veteran goaltender Roberto Luongo had some interesting comments for one of his teenage teammates, Alexander Barkov, recently. Luongo actually compared him to Pavel Datsyuk. Says he flies under the radar. He reminds me a lot of Datsyuk. The way he skates, handles the puck, takes it away from players. I don't think he knows how good he is. Now, when you look at those numbers on the screen, Datsyuk, 11 goals in his rookie year, 12 goals in his second year. Barkov right there with him. The difference, Datsyuk didn't come to the NHL until he was 23.
Yeah.
Barkov's doing that at 18 and 19 years old. Pretty interesting by Roberto Luongo throwing that name out there, and Barkov's name. Datsyuk, obviously a world-class player.
Well, one of the things I take away from that comment in particular is how he has noticed how Barkov takes the puck away from other players. You know, for many years, you could go down the list of that stat, and it's Datsyuk who's leading the National Hockey League in takeaways. So that's pretty hefty compliment there for young Barkov.
Brad Boyes finds a loose puck, spins it out in front. They can't clear the slot. Bolin for Jokinen on the doorstep, Boyes. Oh, close call. Kulikov with a wrister right on Bernier, the save and the cover.
Now, Florida's doing what they need to do. They're forechecking hard. They're pressing. They're creating turnovers in the offensive zone, and they're getting shots through. I mean, look at this. You've got Lupul going right by the puck, but here is the opportunity that you look and you like. Kulikov is taking a good look, has boys in front of the net, and the shot is saved by Jonathan Bernier. But all of those things are positive because those are the kinds of things you build up to getting your first goal.
Van Riemsdyk carries in. Puts it towards the net. Luongo covers. Another stoppage.
You know, when you look over the last 10 days, and we talk about speed as being one of the keys to this game. I talked with Gerard Gallant. I just talked about, tell me about your team speed. And the conversation went right to the fact that, hey, in Madison Square Garden, they outskated or certainly matched the Rangers, matched Montreal, and matched Tampa Bay in the last outing. And the Panthers got no points out of those 3 games. Nothing. And they were the better team.
Loose puck in the Panther zone. Boys clears. The goals are coming quick now in Ottawa. The Rangers have 2 against the Hamburglar. It's Rangers 2 and the Senators 1 right now in the first.
Well, the Hamburglar gave up 4 last outing.
Here's a chance for Riley. Deflected wide. Kessel picks it up. Kessel. And he was blocked by Petrovic. Good play by Petrovic. Tracking Phil Kessel, who came out in front of the net. Leafs getting some chances here, but it rolls by Riley. The Barkov line on for the Panthers. Leafs have done a good job keeping the puck away from them so far in the first period. Usually they've dominated in the shot attempts department, this line. Here's Riley, watched by Huberdeau, fires ahead. Barkov on the back check, got a piece of it. And Barkov, along with Ekblad, worked the boards. Kozin, good effort for Toronto. And it's picked up by Panik with a shot wide.
Well, I tell you what, Toronto, you know, there's a lot of things they need to fix, but Kozin did a great job. He was alone against 3 Florida Panthers, kept the puck in the zone until the 2 line mates finally came off the bench to join him in the offensive zone. That would have been a disaster for the Florida Panthers to come out of that play 1-0 because they did get a good shot on goal. But a line change, I don't understand line changes when the puck is, and you've got 1 or 2 players in the offensive zone, the other guys leave. It seems like all that support that should be there is off. The Florida Panthers got hurt by that in Tampa Bay. Remember that Brian Campbell line change? That should have just been a nice pass to your defenseman who was wide open and a shot on goal.
It resulted in that first goal of the game for the Lightning.
The line
and we
changes
get an
are
offside call here.
Yep, line changes are so key. Well, there's the score the goalie was talking about. That is quick. There's a lot of goals being scored and in a quick amount of time. And Derek Stepan scoring the go-ahead goal for the New York Rangers.
3 goals in that game.
Yeah.
Came in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. And Talbot in the goal. Likely one more time for the Rangers before Henrik Lundqvist, who's backing up tonight, gets back in there. Trocheck trying to put the pressure on along with Hayes. Camper steps up along the wall. Puck free at the circle, then kicks out to center.
The Rangers are in a good battle with Montreal and Tampa Bay to finish first overall in the East. Montreal 100 points, Tampa Bay 99, the Rangers 99.
Here's Peary, flipping it down low for Hayes.
Well, the President's Trophy is up for grabs, right? You got Anaheim 99 and St. Louis 99, Billy. It's all over the map.
Unbelievable.
Nobody wants to break that 100 or what? Nobody there yet. Well, yeah, Montreal is first one to 100. It's amazing how tough the market is in these Canadian cities. Montreal, 100 points, first team there. And Michel Therrien is being lambasted in the paper every day. They don't like his style of coaching. Woof. What do you do to please these fans?
Played by Phaneuf here, under pressure from Jussi Jokinen. Brewer up the boards. Bolin knocks it down. Panthers trying to hold it in, but it is clear to center. Jokinen backtracks. And it's Bolin again. Able to flip it in deep. Phaneuf, first man on the puck. Lupul fights through the Jokinen check. Dave Bolland after the loose puck. Leaves it for Mitchell at the point. But it was rolling on him. And Lupul is out. Phaneuf jumps up. Mishandled the puck, though. Petrovic gives him a bump. Boys takes away. Bozak picks his way over the Panther line. Fights off the Huberdeau check and goes across ice, and Luongo with a big stop there. Oh, that's the guy the Panthers don't want to give the chance to, Phil Kessel, but Luongo beat him.
You've got to be much tighter in your own zone. The Florida Panthers have lost a couple of battles. Here you see the puck goes through Panther players to get to Kessel, and he would have loved to have been able to bury that. Things have not been going very well for anybody. But for Phil Kessel, maybe a little tougher. Had not been putting that puck away very much.
Barkov won the draw, allows the Panthers to clear with less than a minute to go in the period. Huberdeau trying to get in cleanly. Yager picks it up. Yager, oh, he's trying for Barkov, but it didn't connect. Kessel looking to speed the other way. Kulikov gets back. Luongo with a save. A couple of shots here late in the period for Phil Kessel. And now the Panthers have iced it. Tonight on Fox Sports Live, can West Virginia shock the college basketball world against Kentucky? How does Chase Elliott feel about replacing Jeff Gordon in the Sprint Cup? And as opening day approaches, we sit down with Madison Bumgarner. All coming up tonight on Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1.
You know, you look around all the NHL scores when you're this close to the playoffs, and goalie, take a look at what's going on in Carolina. It's 2-1 Carolina over Pittsburgh. Hey, listen, math tells us Pittsburgh could be out of the playoff spot. You know, things don't go their way, and it goes well for others. Boy, what a dramatic end to this hockey season. And the Florida Panthers want to get right into that mix.
You know, scoreless here in the first against Toronto. Pretty even first period. Panthers did take one penalty. Tough call on Barkov for a hand on the puck. They killed it off. Bolland back in the circle. Excellent first period in the face-off circle for Dave Bolland tonight. He's won 5 out of 6, make it 6 of 7. But Yager couldn't run out to center. Bolland there to help out. Campbell back for Ekblad.
Something's wrong there when you get a good pass like that. Defenseman can't make that first pass up the ice. Got to be available for him, and I think a little bit of a gap issue between the Panthers and their defense, and now the puck's turned over.
Bolland gets the clear, and that'll do it for the first period. Shots even and scoreless after one here in Toronto. Little something going out at center ice. The officials will separate the players there.
Well, Komarov and Petrovic, we know what Petrovic can do. Well, this first, yeah, I know he can throw them, and you know, here's a bulletin. They both come from the right and the left. Anyway, to see this first period, I had as one of my keys, let the Florida Panthers be the non-starters. Don't let Toronto get started. Well, they didn't let Toronto score a goal, but certainly Toronto, after period number 1, they've got more confidence now than had the Panthers been able to score and take a lead.
Coming up in our intermission here in Toronto, you don't want to miss it. Denny is inside, I'll call it his house. No, it's not Nassau Coliseum or one of his many residences around North America. It's the Hall of Fame. And we'll talk Brandon Peary, who remains red hot, and go inside the first period just ahead. Panthers began play tonight. 5 points out of a playoff spot. Needing a win here in Toronto. After 20, we are scoreless. We get set to start the second period here in Toronto. The Panthers and the Maple Leafs going at it tonight. Roberto Luongo, perfect in the first. He's 12-1 over the years. His last 13 decisions against the Maple Leafs. And the Panthers trying to beat Jonathan Bernier in goal tonight for Toronto. Boston Bruins have come back in the second to tie Anaheim. So that game is 1-1 as we keep you updated on the other scores. And we'll see, Denny, not the typical period for the Barkov line with the shot attempts and puck possession during the first. See what they do here in the second.
Well, they're going to need to do something. Both Barkov and Huberdeau, no shots on goal. And for Jaromir Jagr, no shots on goal. So that line not generating one shot on goal is odd. That's something that has not happened in any period since Jágr has joined the line.
Yeah, Jágr had the one shot attempt that was blocked, but none got to the net, as you mentioned. So here we go in the second. The period, as you said, the Panthers have really sparked offensively of late. Tied for the 5th most goals in the NHL in the second period. Lead pass for Bozak, but it was read well by Alex Petrovic, who knocked it down. Jágr steals from Kessel. Here comes Jágr, setting up Barkov. One-timer deflected, though, and harmlessly dribbled wide. Jágr again. Plays it around, and Barkov moves over. Cut off, though, by Bozak. Barkov got a skate on it. This is Huberdeau walking in front. Huberdeau waits, and he just couldn't get a clean shot off. Oh, Huberdeau looked off and faked the pass to Jágr. The puck went off the heel of his stick. Huberdeau again. Barkov picks it up. This is what we're used to out of this line. Great first shift of the period. Huberdeau gets into the slot. The pass deflected and then cleared away.
So close, not really able to get a shot on goal. Bernier followed him all the way around, but too many sticks in the lane.
Here comes David Booth. And Luongo with a save. Booth fired it from that wing. Riley fires one cross ice. Campbell plays the big carom off the wall. Riley steps up trying to hold it in, but taken by Dave Bolland. This is Brad Boyes, and he'll get it deep. Bolland knocks it away from Gardner. Riley jammed up with Boyes, and now Jokinen takes away. Centering pass. Bolland tips it over to Boyes. Turns. And it's taken the other way by McKegg. He couldn't run out of the zone. Now Lupul. And McKegg move in. Lupul shoots wide. Booth all alone in front. Luongo with a big save. David Booth got free off that big carom off the end boards. Trocheck goes the other way. Cuts to the middle. Lost the puck. Gardner hit by Hayes. Here's Brandon Peary. Throws one towards the net. Bernier won't take any chances.
Well, this is the one time where the line in the second period has really had some dominance. There's the Huberdeau. I don't know if he knew how much time he had going to the front of the net, but here at least they got themselves. There's a lot of puck possession in the offensive zone. A confidence builder, we'll call it. That shift for the Barkov line. Line that did not get a shot on goal in the first period.
And that first one of the second period was their best of the game. Trocheck back defensively. Good play by Kulikov to get it to him. Trocheck flips it ahead. Peary is in. Peary fires. It went off the stick of Eriksson. Held in the zone by Camper, who throws it over the net. Here comes Kulikov charging. Trying to keep it alive with Trocheck, and they do. Peary again, spinning free. Dmitry Kulikov winds and fires, blocked away in front by McWilliams, the Leafs defenseman. But Toronto unable to clear. The intensity there in this second period for the Panthers, but Kozin leads a 3-on-2. Komarov, centering pass, deflected, popped away by Kampfer. Willie Mitchell plays it along for Kampfer. Back the other way. Hayes gets the clear.
Okay, there's a little bit of a line change there that appeared to be 6 Leafs on the ice.
Only one power play so far in the game. And that went to Toronto in the first. Panthers did a good job killing it off. Loose puck at center. And Carrick turns it over the Panther line. Back checking was McKenzie.
I think Thornton may have thought, and the Leaf player may have thought that it touched somebody at the Leaf bench, but apparently not.
The Rangers now lead the Ottawa Senators 4-1 in Ottawa. Panthers begin play 5 points behind the Senators for the final playoff spot. The Rangers, you know how tough they are. Carrick sweeping in. All the way behind the Panther net, out the other side. Couldn't get a shot off. Enough. Watched by Jágr. Eric Brewer gets it in over the line. Petrovic along the boards. Good play by Alex Petrovic. And the lead pass finds Huberdeau. Barkov is in. Barkov drop pass. Huberdeau shoots and scores! Hooby-dooby-doo! It's 1-0 Panthers. A rifle of a shot.
Jonathan Bernier has nothing there to be ashamed of. There are not too many shots that will hit right where the crossbar is and the left goalpost if you're Jonathan Huberdeau. This is the second shift of the second period for the Barkov line, and they were so much better the first time they were on the ice. Here again, finding an opening. You may remember in the first period, it was Huberdeau who dropped the puck to Brian Campbell. He couldn't put it away, but this time Huberdeau has been really hot and playing very solid hockey. Ends up putting it past Jonathan Bernier. Not often that you get a shooter from 20 feet, and you can say the goaltender really didn't have a chance. That was a great shot.
Here comes Van Riemsdyk the other way with a chance. He misses the net. Huberdeau with the goal. Barkov will get an assist, and here comes Jágr leading a 3-on-2. Barkov, the trailer, shoots, and that goes wide. It's Huberdeau again, and now Kampfer takes over and scores! Steven Kampfer, welcome back to the lineup, and a couple of quick ones by the Cats.
You know, take what Goldie just said, a couple of quick ones. I would venture to say that was the voice in the dressing room. Let's get a couple of quick ones on these guys and take their powder away. Because in the first part of the second period, I think you can see the Toronto Maple Leafs were starting to get a little pep in their step, starting to move with a little more confidence, and then the Huberdeau goal, and this one, totally unexpected from the corner. Barkov missing the net high, but there comes Kampfer, who's coming back from having been out a couple of games. Absolutely hits the top shelf, a la Bukestad. Hey, who else scores from deep in the corner like that? What a shot.
Huberdeau is 13th. Barkov and Petrovic, who remember got that play started with a good defensive play, get the helpers. And Kampfer, Gerard Gallant told us this morning, hey, you know what? Kampfer played well. Want to get him back in there, get him a game. And he scores in 2 goals in half a minute for the Panthers. Here's another chance. Jokinen, it goes wide. Remember, the Panthers scored 3 goals in a minute 58 the other night in Tampa. And we talked about the second period. The Panthers have been so good, tied for the 5th most goals in the league in the second. And they've got 2 here, and Jokinen's all alone, but he misses. Oh, you see Jokinen off the feed from Boys, point blank, nearly made it 3-0. And now Bolin with a steal. Peary down low, but it's past Bolin. Put towards the side of the net. Peary trying to dig it free, and we get a whistle. Wow, Huberdeau and Barkov also get the assist on the Kampfer goal. So 2-point games, Denny. You talked about Huberdeau and Barkov before tonight's game, how well they've been playing.
Well, Huberdeau 8 shots in the last game against Tampa Bay, and he certainly didn't miss going top shelf. His line mate Barkov did miss on a golden opportunity, and Jokinen, it couldn't get any better. So many mix-up down low by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Boy, they have work to do in their own zone, and Jokinen missed the net high.
Just a fire drill in the own end for the Leafs.
But Bill, you
It's just
talked about it before the intermission. Come out with that desperation, come out with that energy, and they have here in the opening 5 minutes.
And it started with the first shift. It wasn't the shift they scored on. Remember,
Right.
Huberdeau, Barkov,
Yep.
and Jágr had that big shift to start the second period, followed up with another good shift.
Trocheck shoots and he rings it off the pipe. Oh, he had Bernier glove side. The Panthers firing away now.
And Jimmy Hayes was right on top of that blue paint. Bernier never saw the shot.
Trocheck again. Drop pass for Hayes. Put it in the corner. Cut off there. The Panthers have come oh so close. They've already got 2, but boy, this could be 3 or 4 already here in the second. David Booth in the offensive zone now as the Leafs try to gain a little momentum. Morgan Riley with a shot. Knocked down and taken by Willie Mitchell. So multi-point games for Huberdeau and Barkov. When you look at them, the last 41 games they've both played, half a season, not including tonight. They're both on pace, Huberdeau and Barkov, for about 20 goal season. We're seeing 2 players for the Panthers at 19 and 21 years old just continue to emerge right in front of our eyes.
How about those shots by Huberdeau and Kampfer? Wow. Twisted wrister by Huberdeau, and then Kampfer just goes right upstairs. Trout sprung one off the crossbar. Seems like the Panthers want to go high against Bernier, and it's working, but those were a couple of laser beams.
Yeah, and even the one where Jokinen had that chance and missed, he was trying to go high too. That's right.
Well, you know, Goldie, talking about guys who get maybe 20-goal seasons, you know, is a pretty much of a known fact. If you look around, the teams that make the playoffs and the teams that are certain to be in the playoffs are usually teams that have 4 or maybe 5 guys that are in that 20-goal range. You don't necessarily need that 50-goal scorer. Panthers look like they're developing those young guys.
Phaneuf has it stolen away, but taken back by Lindstrom. Luongo may have gotten a piece of it up high, carries all the way down. Scotty Upshall was a little slow getting to the bench. He took a late hit out at center ice.
And the Leafs in their own end, it just looks like it's confusion. And they're straight-legged. A lot of work for this Leafs team to do defensively, and the Panthers are taking advantage of some defensive lapses here in the second period by the Leafs.
Icing call on the Panthers. We invite you to bring your family or friends out to a Panther game with a family 4-pack. Yeah, there's weekend games still left. And they're big ones at the BB&T Center, 954-835 Puck. Get your ticket package now. Panthers return home next Thursday to start a 5-game homestand to finish the regular season. They've got work to do still on this road trip. This is game 2 of 5. Panthers have 2 shots on goal here in the second. They both gone in. Huberdeau and Kampfer. Kessel with the steal. Puts it in front. Van Riemsdyk. And Luongo with the glove. Kept it out. Oh, Roberto Luongo on Van Riemsdyk.
Are we hearing Lou?
Jonathan Huberdeau with a bullet open the scoring here tonight. Steven Kampfer back in the lineup, and he gets his second goal of the season. The Panthers had the lead in the second, Billy.
Starting to have some fun now, Goldie. This is more like it. And the Panthers in the second period, they've been dominant basically in the last month. They've been the best team in the second period with the goal differential, getting it done. You can see since February 28th, they have a +12 goal differential. That is the best in the NHL, Colorado, Nashville, and Vancouver. But they are 5 better than Colorado, and they came out with a desperation level here in this second period that was not there in that first period. And it started with that Barkov, Huberdeau, Jágr line once again. And Roberto Luongo had a huge save right before we went to break. But this has been the period that the Panthers have been doing the damage.
You know, and Roberto Luongo needs to get a lot of credit. Remember, in the first period, there were several very good opportunities as well on Roberto Luongo, and he's come up and made some very solid saves. But the best one of the night is the one you talked about, Billy, the one on Van Riemsdyk. He felt he had that wide-open net.
Did Van Riemsdyk get all of it on that play?
Oh, yeah. I think he was just a little too casual. He figured it was a no-brainer.
Willie Mitchell back in his own zone here, over to Petrovic. Petrovic hit by Komarov. Panik back behind the net, and Bolin wouldn't let him out. Back again for Petrovic. Playing with Willie Mitchell tonight. Petrovic has been impressive again. He has an assist in the game. Panthers here get called for icing.
Now you talk about Petrovic's play. He has been outstanding and has been noticed. And that's, you only have to take a look at the time on ice. Against the Tampa Bay Lightning, the youngster who was playing his 24th game, 25th tonight, played over 20 minutes and 48 seconds. That's the most ice time that he has had since he joined the Florida Panthers 24 games ago. So you know the confidence is building amongst the coaching staff.
Like many others that have been called up, you know, I've asked, hey, what's the difference this call up? You know, Petrovic's been here before. They say to a man playing the same system in the AHL has been so key. Boyes is in! Oh, what a move by Brad Boyes. Bernier made a skate save. So finishing and having that continuity between Tom Rowe and the San Antonio Rampage, who are in first place in the Western Conference in the AHL, makes the transition when guys get called up much easier. Trocheck hit the post earlier. Backhander in front. Bozak. Kampfer gets back as we approach the halfway point of the game.
Well, I tell you what, they got some young defensemen out there that are probably hopefuls and prospects, but Andrew McMillan has got to sharpen up on his one-on-one.
Good save by Luongo there on David Booth.
Oh, boy. Brad
Peary's
Boyes
ahead of the field, but Hayes takes the safe route and carries in and shoots, and Bernier with a save.
Again, trying to go top shelf.
Here he had a step in behind the D there. Would have been a tough pass to get it through. McKagan for Lupul. Good defensive pressure by the Panthers. And they look to break the other way. Upshaw. Moving in. Try to get it in front. It's cut off the flex on goal. Oh, right off McKagan. Bernier able to save it off his teammate's skate. The Panthers with 2 goals here in the second. Huberdeau and Camper keep the pressure on. They've got the lead in Toronto. Goal and an assist for the red-hot Jonathan Huberdeau. The Panthers have the lead. Here's how we entered play tonight. The Panthers 5 points out of a playoff spot. The Ottawa Senators are losing right now badly, 4-1 to the Rangers in the second period. And the Boston Bruins will go to the third, tied 1-1 with Anaheim. Washington is leading New Jersey 2-1. Panthers still with 2 games left with Boston and 1 left with Ottawa. The McKenzie line on for Florida. And this is Derek McKenzie giving it Campbell at the line, and the wrist shot knocked away in front. Lindstrom, Gardner, and Riley. And the clear. Good pass by Morgan Riley. Lindstrom in over the Panther line, knocked away. It's picked up, and the shot deflected. Loose side of the net now. Ekblad trying to dig it free. Comes around the boards for Morgan Riley. Ooh, and Ekblad got hit hard. Carrick gave him a shot as McKenzie took it away. McKenzie puts it over the blue line. Ekblad okay, stays on with Brian Campbell.
Yeah, he was trying to get off the ice, but things turned the other way, and he couldn't because he could see the onrushing Leafs.
We got that long change in the second. Barkov lost his stick, but blocked the shot anyway from the point. They still can't get off the ice. Campbell now. Ooh, the stretch pass there, knocked down by Komarov. Komarov in behind the net. Puts it out in front. Panik forced away by Ekblad. Here's a shot, and Luongo gets a much-needed whistle for his defense.
And the Panthers get that goal by Stephen Kampfer, but pay attention to number 81, Kessel. He's not really involved, but sees he goes back, and you're supposed to stop and start. He just goes for a big swing. 81 just goes for a swing, and Bozak just standing around. Look where Kessel is. Stopping and starting your own end. Wasn't really a factor in the goal, but you talk about not thinking defense at all. He came back. You're supposed to stop, start, and then go. He comes back, goes for a big swing. You see that plus-minus rating, but not really thinking a lot of defense is Phil Kessel.
Coach Barry Trotz, who's now with the Washington Capitals, said, I wouldn't mind Kessel at minus 35 if he scored me 80 goals.
Hey, you tell Ovechkin, you got to score me 93.
That's right.
If you don't start playing a little better defensively. Here's Kessel now. Leafs go for a change. Huberdeau and Camper. The goals for Florida, 30 seconds apart here in the second. Boy, they came close to adding to it. Bolin in the slot, over to Jokinen. Back in front, Bolin! Oh, Bernier comes over to make the save.
Oh, what a nice little play there by the veterans. Bolin is not happy with himself. I just don't think he got enough of the puck as he had room. Think of the times the Florida Panthers have had chances.
Yager with a chance, Bernier the save. And Barkov with another one of those plays. Kessel was on him and saying, just flipped him off like he was a mosquito and set up Yager, Denny.
Well, that's one of the attributes. That's why I was a little surprised when Roberto Luongo said, yeah, this guy, Barkov, reminds me of Datsuk. There's one area that is completely different, is the power game. And yet, you know, Barkov has got those hands and the skill and the ability to take pucks away from people. Very good hockey stick.
Look at those numbers the last 12 games. Wow.
Now, they've been great since Yager got here. And just fun to watch. I mean, they have been dynamic. Huberdeau battling with Booth. Barkov again digs it free. Went off Yager's stick. And Booth is able to get it free to Lupul. Kulikov has a beat on him. Good play again by Dmitry Kulikov. Last few games, Kulikov up over 20 minutes. Playing solid defensive hockey. Yager gives chase. Huberdeau behind the net, scoops it up. Gives to Kulikov up high. Throws it down low. It's Barkov again turning. Barkov for Jágr. Jágr holds. Cross ice pass. It's through to Kulikov. Now Barkov shoots it. Pinballs right through the slot. Huberdeau with Phaneuf. Huberdeau takes the hit. Jágr takes the puck again. Here's Kulikov again with a shot. Bernier got over with the blocker. And Lupul finally able to get it out of the zone. Strong period for that Barkov line again. Huberdeau still on, chips it over the line. Off the stick of Trocheck. Trocheck, good job on the back check defensively. Sends Hayes on his way down the wing. Hayes makes a move, gets in front, backhander just wide. What a move by the big man. Jimmy Hayes, but he couldn't finish it.
There's another young, promising defenseman in Morgan Rielly. My goodness, they got a lot of work to do with these guys. Wow.
And Denny, for that Huberdeau, Barkov, Jágr line, there's all kinds of talent, but it doesn't work without work ethic.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing, what I think better than anything else is they're combining that talent with a tremendous work ethic.
You know the thing, Billy.
Trocheck gives to Peary and the shot score! Brandon Peary does it again! My goodness, is he on fire! And it's 3-0 Panthers. Brandon Peary, 16 goals in 22 games. Wow.
You know what, at some point, and it could be right now, we stop saying how he's on a hot streak. This is Brandon Peary. Everybody else is shooting high. Everybody else is trying to beat Bernier on the high side. Huberdeau did it. Kemper did it. But you know what? Peary finds another hole. It's time to now move on and say that is Brandon Peary.
Has to be a happy camper here. He's got all kinds of friends and family in the building. There's going to be a goaltending change as Reimer will come in for Bernier. But I asked Peary off camera before I interviewed him, and I said, how many people you got here? And he just simply said, a lot. So, you know he's happy to get that goal in front of family and friends. And there is Jonathan Bernier sitting on the pine.
The Panthers with another huge second period. They score 3 times. Trocheck and Campbell will get the assist on the Peary goal. That's 19 on the year, and he's only played half a season. There's a hit. Sean Thornton got knocked down, and then McKenzie gets run, and there's no call. And Thornton's going to jump in here. Thornton on McWilliam, who just ran McKenzie. Is McWilliam going to fight him? I don't think he wants to.
No, it's really tough here because
2-on-1 the other way. Now we get the whistle, Denny.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, if McWilliam's going to play like that, you better be ready to drop the gloves.
And
that was a dirty hit on McKenzie.
He doesn't want to drop the gloves right now, and unfortunately the rules are helping out the guys who actually instigate but then back off.
I can't believe there wasn't a call there on McKenzie getting hit from behind. Right into the boards. Luckily, he's up and okay. And we'll sort it all out as those two, Thornton and McWilliam, continue to chat. Brandon Peary, Mr. Offense. The Cats are up 3. Kenzie, luckily, appears to be okay. A little shaken up. He and Thornton in the box. 2 Leafs in the box as well. But Denny, this hit by McWilliam, this is what the NHL is trying to get out of the game right here.
Well, it would seem to me you got 2 guys here, and that's on the numbers, running the head into the boards. And so McKenzie, I'm not sure why he gets a penalty, but here you come, number 57, McWilliams, is the one who hit Thornton at center ice. Now, Thornton is obviously trying to get him engaged. McWilliams is not interested at all. And I think I'm not sure why McKenzie ends up getting a penalty.
It was Komarov that hit McKenzie. McWilliam before that had hit Thornton out at center. So we'll sort it all out. The Panthers, 3 goals here in the second period. Huberdeau, Kampfer, and Peary. And it appears after that goal and the goalie changed, the Leafs were trying to change the momentum. McWilliam and Komarov threw some shots there at a couple of Panthers.
Yeah. Well, in goal now for the Toronto Maple Leafs, the change. Jonathan Bernier allowing 3 goals on, I believe, 16 shots. James Reimer is in net now. There you see the numbers for James Reimer, his numbers versus the Florida Panthers, not very good either. He's won 1, lost 4, but the goals against is a 3.78. So the Panthers have gotten to him as well. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, they must have given extra penalties to the Leafs. They haven't announced it yet, but Horacek is red hot there. You see him talking to the officials. So far, it's just roughings on Thornton and McKenzie, and
well, all 5 Panthers are on the ice.
And
what's going
5
on?
Leafs. So it looks like I don't know what
just a wash.
I don't know what Peter Horacek was so upset about. It's all 2-minute penalties for all 4, and we're even.
I think he's just upset in general. He probably just wants to find someone to yell at.
All right, that's fair enough, because he can't be upset about.
Just blow some steam off at someone.
Can't be upset about those calls, I wouldn't think.
Certainly, in my view, he was probably looking at the fact that Thornton dropped his gloves first and maybe instigator, all kinds of, those skinny penalties that could have been called. And the referees decided just to keep it even.
So we remain 5-on-5, less than 5 to go in the second period. Top line on for the Maple Leafs. Played behind the net, Willie Mitchell. Around for Jokinen. Met by Phaneuf, but Jokinen got the clear. Bozak. Cross-ice pass. Now Van Riemsdyk cranks one up. Pad save, rebound, and they score. Bozak. They're saying it was gloved in. You see Roberto Luongo and Willie Mitchell, and obviously they look at every goal, and they're ruling it right now. No goal on the ice. You saw the call made right there. Is no goal on the ice by Mark Jonette, Billy.
I was standing right here. Yeah, he knocked it in with his hand. From my viewpoint, it looked like he took the shot and then just whacked it in with his hand.
Well, that was the call by the officials as well.
The goal is disallowed. It was batted with his hand. Face off right here.
So that's a good call.
Not even any need to go to the war room for that one. Referees were right on top of him. Ghislain Hébert and Marc Joannette. There you see Marc Joannette in position, taking a look. Here's the play. Shot. Puck comes up. I mean, that's as obvious as you can have it.
How about the original save, though?
Yeah, Luongo's on target tonight, isn't he? He was upset with himself the other night in Tampa. After the game, he said, hey, I got to be better than that. And he has made some huge stops here tonight.
Yeah, the goal by Callahan.
Well, what a season it's been for the Panthers. And next season, you can be there. 2015 season tickets. You would be eligible for priority purchasing for this year's Stanley Cup playoffs. Flexible plans available. And Panther ticket reps are standing by. So call 954-835-PUCK right now. What a season it's been for Florida. And they may be getting a big night tonight. But right now, up 3-0. Kampfer has been called for a penalty. So Toronto goes on the power play for the second time. Jokinen trying to push it out of the zone, but he couldn't do it. Petrovic does clear. The Ottawa Senators 5 points up on the Rangers in the Eastern, or on the Panthers in the East. The Rangers lead Ottawa now 5-1.
Well, Kemper's in the penalty box for roughing just after that non-goal call. So the Panthers have got it. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Delay of game is the actual call. So the Panthers now the only team to have had penalties in this game. That caused for power play. Panthers no power play so far in the game. This is the second for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Petrovic on the clear. So Ottawa losing 5-1. The Boston Bruins have now got ahead of Anaheim 2-1. Panthers have their lead tonight in the playoff race. Here comes Morgan Rielly with the rush. Rielly's still with it. Flips it over to Phaneuf. Barkov attacks him and clears. Good read by Alexander Barkov. Lupul. Circles the net on the other shot. Lupul Holmes. No blue jerseys in front. They put it in front anyway. It comes all the way through. Gardner now fires, deflected. And Barkov, nice little play to get it to Campbell. And the clear all the way down.
Now, a lot of skating around by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Good puck possession in the offensive zone. But you know, the Panthers seem to stay very quiet while they're killing the penalty and not leaving their positions. That's really what you have to do.
And the Panthers have been very disciplined. They're not taking a lot of penalties. they've had 12 straight games where they've been shorthanded 3 times or less. So they're not putting a lot of pressure on their penalty killers.
Kampfer's out of the box. They've killed it off. So the Panthers, remarkably, over their last 14 games, are 30 of 32 on the penalty kill. What a job as the season gets laid on in the stretch run on penalty killing for Florida. And it remains 3-0. They did not allow a shot on goal on that power play. Here's Huberdeau with a goal and an assist tonight. Playing it up the wall. Eric Brewer holds it in. Huberdeau again. This time gets it out to center. Barkov all over Phaneuf, and Barkov with a steal.
There's the takeaway.
Phaneuf under some pressure here, but Comley throws it out to center for Kessel. Lead pass. Bailey making his NHL debut. Panthers get the steal. Yager moves in, leaves it for Huberdeau. Huberdeau lets fly, deflected towards the net. Save, rebound is loose. Barkov. Oh, and they blew the whistle. It may have gone over the goal line, right under the pad. You see it there, but the whistle was blown. Unfortunately, that puck was still loose. And had the whistle not been blown, Denny, that may have been a goal for Barkov, and maybe it should have been.
Well, maybe it should have been. I think it was only the fact the whistle blew that it's not. They're going to take a look at it now. Everybody looking up at the board here, and we'll see for ourselves. Do we get a whistle? Are we going to hear it? Boy, the puck was loose.
Well,
the referee was right on top.
Now, I don't know if
But he
that's
blew the
completely
whistle.
over the line
No.
or not.
I think the whistle is blown right about now.
Yeah, the whistle definitely blew.
Right about now. So when the puck went over, it is, milliseconds after the referee. So let's take a listen. We'll add a little sound to this play. Like I said, the whistle was blown just as it got underneath. Yeah, it could have been a delayed whistle. It would have been a goal. But it was not.
So you think it was over?
Oh, no, it was definitely over the goal
think
line.
so.
Yeah, it was definitely in the net. But the
I didn't know if
whistle-
it was completely over
Yeah.
the line. You
Oh,
think
no.
it was?
Yeah, it would have been a goal.
The rule is that if they lose sight of the puck, the officials are supposed to blow the whistle.
Yep.
But good job there by the Panthers getting the puck to the net, and Barkov jamming right in there. Dmitry Kulikov clears it to center. At the second intermission, we'll update you on the playoff race, the standings, and the all-important out-of-town scoreboard. The Bruins game, the Ottawa game.
5-1 now, Rangers.
They have solved the Hamburglar, if you will.
Yeah.
Pulled the pickles tonight. Peary to Hayes, and the shot saved by Bernier up high. Loose in front. Bolin gloves it down, trying to find it. And he does. Hayes again. Here's Peary shooting. Try to go short side. It's Bolin one more time. Panthers with pressure. With 10 to go in the period. Kulikov. Kulikov pulls the brakes up. Hayes fires from out high. On the rebound, a penalty coming up. And I
On
guess
the
it's...
Panthers?
Well, the Panthers had the puck.
Yeah.
And they're going to call Boland?
Oh, boy. Yep. Boland's going to the penalty box.
Florida, number 63, minor penalty, holding the stick.
Wow.
Well, that's probably what got him free.
Well, maybe so. We'll take a look.
There you see the in front of the net is Peary. Boland's to the right side, and there you see he's got the hand on the stick. Why
For
is
a
he-
while.
Yeah, like for a while. What is he doing? Oh, my God. You know
All right.
what? He is thinking old school. He sees one referee in front of him, and he must be thinking it's still a game when there's only one referee. Well, a blowout period for the Florida Panthers as they came out, and the choice of Coach Gallant to put the Barkov line to start the period, masterful. They didn't score then, but they showed that they came out to play hockey early in that second period, and they produced 3 goals.
And Steven Kampfer reinserted into the lineup tonight. Has one. Second intermission coming up. A look around the Eastern Conference, the playoff race, the out-of-town scores. All the highlights. What was another masterful second period by the Florida Panthers. It's becoming a staple for this team. Trying for a win and gain 2 points in the playoff race. After 2 periods of play, Florida with a 3-0 lead. Period with a 3-0 lead for the Panthers. All 3 goals coming during the second period. And there's a look at Jaromir Jagr as an assist tonight. That's 9 points in his 11 games as a Panther. And he met with the media earlier today. And he brought a little something with him. That's right, the old mullet wig. Why?
No, it's for good luck. So hopefully it's gonna work.
Who gave it to you?
I had it like after first game, in Florida. So.
Going old school back to the early 90s, and boy, Jaromir Jagr has been so good for the Panthers. You talk about the leadership and the things he's done with Huberdeau and Barkov, but the production has been there on the ice. 9 points in his 11 games. A helper tonight. He set up that second goal by Kampfer. And the Panthers, who had a game that we talked about it, game the other night in Tampa, they easily could have, probably should have won, played well enough except for a few mistakes, and they've always found a way to bounce back, and they've done it again here tonight, particularly in that second period.
Well, I think they've got this thing going on, and it's great. They don't like to lose, and they have not won enough this year at this point, but they've certainly shown that they have the bounce-back mentality, so that is something to build on for the future, without a doubt. You've got to hate to lose, and you've got to suffer the consequences.
Boland still in the box. The carryover from the first. So Toronto working on its 3rd power play. The Panthers have not had one tonight. Morgan Riley for Bozak. Here's Van Riemsdyk. Backhander deflected. Loose in the blue paint, and Luongo smothers it. Panther season seat holders, and we appreciate a lot of you being at the game in Tampa the other night. Good to see all of you. The code word tonight is Blue Line. Log on to My Panthers Awards and put the code in the next 24 hours. Gone to the 3rd period in Ottawa with the Senators getting pounded by the Rangers 5-1. Bruins still up a goal in the 3rd over Anaheim.
And Hammond has been pulled first time.
Well, Kessel with a shot deflected wide. Morgan Riley back over to Kessel, but he couldn't handle it. Comes all the way down.
You talk about a goaltender being pulled here in Toronto. It's the 8th time this season that the coach has had to pull a goaltender.
I would be scared to play goal in front of this team. It's got to be a frightening proposition.
Luongo's been strong here tonight. Panthers get another clear. Remember, the Panthers now back-to-back games with 3 goals. And that's without Nick Bjugstad, unfortunately. The team's leading goal scorer with 24. Out with that lower body injury. The Cats in his absence. Trocheck here, last 2 games, has assists on Peary's goals. Shows you the depth of where the Panthers are now, top to bottom in their organization. Of course, they would love to get Bjugstad back ASAP. And Luongo will cover here with 23 seconds left on the Toronto power play.
Billy, you said something very interesting, and right away it dawned on me. You said, you wouldn't want to play here. Does it make it difficult now for free agents to be attracted to Toronto because of what's happened?
I think it's tough in some scenarios. Yeah. It's a tough place to play. It's a tough market, and I'm not saying I definitely, wouldn't want to play here. I'd play, but it's the market, and it's tough, and the way this team is playing. It's a tough place to play when you're losing, and you can just get beat up in this city. It takes a toll.
Because, the rebuild is, obviously part of trying to get some free agents that might come in and play, some veteran guys that can help the young players.
And the problem I see, the body language, I've never seen worse body language on a team from their top players. They don't have Kessel, Bozak, Van Riemsdyk. They hang their heads, look disinterested, and it's been a long year, but it really shows down here at ice level in their body language.
Panthers kill off another power play for Toronto and held them shotless again, so the Leafs are now 0 for 3 on the power play. And the Panthers, that penalty kill has just been phenomenal of late. Komarov moves in, tucks it in front, picked up by Kozun, as we're 5-on-5 now. Peary watches Kozun. Kozun holds.
Well, he reminds me of Grimaldi.
Yeah, a little bit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
A little juice to him. Rocco had a big game last night. The Panthers AHL team came back for a win to take over the top spot in the Western Conference. Point shot here blocked by Campbell. And Brandon Peary gives to Trocheck. Trocheck moves in. cuts to the middle, takes the shot. Flopper save by Reimer on in relief of Jonathan Bernier. Hayes spinning along the wall. Good effort by Hayes. It's blocked by Brewer. Bolin on a loose puck. UC Jokinen now. And Bolin battling Brewer. Jokinen again, try to get it in front, but take it away. Lindstrom to center. We're back with you Saturday night in Montreal at 7. Sunday at 5 from Ottawa. Huge games down the stretch for the Panthers.
Listen, you talk about Ottawa, Hammond being pulled after allowing 5 goals. And Chris Driedger, that's in there now, has never played an NHL game. So he's making his first appearance in goal in the National Hockey League. And as you know, Anderson and Leonard, number 1 and 2 goaltenders for Ottawa, have been out with injuries. So
icing call here on Toronto. They've got 17 minutes left in Toronto. And there it is. So the Panthers, should the scores hold up, would only be 3 points behind the Senators. But if the Boston Bruins hold on to their win and they lead now with 3:45 to go, they would then jump over Ottawa. So the Panthers would only gain 1 point, if you will, in the playoff race. But still 2 games left with the Bruins. They'd be 4 points back should all the scores hold up.
And like I said earlier, this road trip, Florida Panthers play both teams.
Markov in the slot. Plays it back for Willie Mitchell. And the wrister. Deflected wide. Markov again. Morgan Riley for Toronto. Able to get out of his zone. They'll also play Boston at home. Second to last game of the year. April 9th, the Panthers will. Huberdeau gets tripped up, and still the Panthers don't have a power play. And Huberdeau staring down the ref. And Jonathan is not one to complain very much on the ice during his brief NHL career. But they let it go. We continue play. Kessel came out of the zone. McKenzie charging at Brewer. And he forces them to throw it down the ice. They wave off the icing, though. And McKenzie will just chip it out. 3 goals in the second period for the Panthers. First 2 came 30 seconds apart, Huberdeau and Camper. And then Brandon Peary added another one, his 19th of the year. Remember, Peary's only playing his 41st game. 19 goals in half a season for Peary. We get a stoppage.
And you remember, Brandon Peary went 15 games without a goal. After he came back, had that concussion and came back and struggled for a while. So if you take away those 15 games, the numbers have just been off the charts the other games.
Well, you wonder now. He did score 24 goals last year between the Panthers, the Blackhawks, and Chicago's AHL team, but which is a decent number. But what he's doing this year, I mean, this is off the charts.
Well, you know what? I don't know that anybody pegged him to be a 40-goal scorer, but at this pace he could certainly be. But on the other hand, everybody said that he had the potential to be a very, very consistent big-time goal scorer. And he is only getting into his own right now. That's why I'm saying, I think after a while, these goals that he's getting in bunches, you know, it's not just a streak anymore.
And the big blue line. Big thing for him is to back it up again next year.
Yeah.
That will be the litmus test. Did it once, can you do it again?
Well, he just seems to do it whenever he comes back from injury. If you remember, before he got injured this last time, he had 6 goals in 7 games. He had scored goals in all 6 games, like one each game. I mean, he was consistent before the injury, and then he's been just lights out since he's come back from that lengthy injury of 9 games.
Offside the call with 13:50 to go, and the Panthers up 3-0 in Toronto. Real Brandon Peary is awake here in Toronto. Perhaps a family member, young fan. Peary has one of the Panther goals tonight, Billy, and Roberto Luongo's had a solid game.
Bobby Lou looking to bounce back, and he struggled last game in Tampa Bay, but he's come back in a big way, and he has our ADP defensive play of the game tonight. This is against James Van Riemsdyk. Kessel has the puck. and then on that goal line makes not one but two saves against JVR, able to handle that rebound. And had a brief conversation with goaltending coach Rob Tallis this morning, and he said he had a conversation with Luongo, and Luongo was thoroughly upset with the loss in Tampa Bay, and he took it hard. This is a player that wants to win. He wants to see this franchise turn around, and he's bounced back this evening against the Maple Leafs, and that's just the way he goes. He's a competitor.
He had some big saves as well. Remember those two on Kessel late in the first period when this game was still scoreless. Roberto with 398 NHL wins. Only 10 goaltenders in history have reached 400. He can get within one tonight. Brad Boyes.
By the way, guys, that young guy who was asleep on his father's shoulder, do keep in mind that Brendan Peary is from Toronto.
Yep.
And he's got a lot of relatives here, so I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at a cousin, a nephew, something along that line.
Brad Boyes' parents at the game here tonight as well as we look at Peary. Boyes from nearby Mississauga. There's a look at Peary at 23 years old.
Yep.
Boy, oh boy. They gave up a couple of draft picks for the Blackhawks to get him. It's looking like a stroke of genius by General Manager Dale Talon right now.
Well, he says he used to love watching Brett Hull.
We got to emulate.
Now we know why.
Shoots from everywhere.
He wasn't watching Adam Oates. He was watching Brett Hull. Adam Oates would get Hull the puck.
He and Trocheck have played well together the last couple of games.
Yeah.
Morgan Rielly quickly scoots in over the line and throws it around the wall. Van Riemsdyk after it, hits solidly by Petrovic, and Petrovic funnels it up high. Held in the zone, down low. Bozak puts it in front. Luongo trying to find it. Little help there from Willie Mitchell.
You know, Roberto Luongo was really very solid in the first period. When you consider the Florida Panthers didn't seem to have it all in check at that point. You remember, there's some very big saves from in tight in the first period that Roberto Luongo handled and kept, his team in play. And I think that, he deserves a tap on the back until the Florida Panthers were able to get on the board in the second period. And he faced 9 shots, 6 of 7 of them were very good scoring chances.
Panik pressured by Jágr and Barkov. And now Steven Kampfer for the Panthers. Plays it up the wall all the way down. Eric Brewer. Clears to center. Kampfer, nice step up there.
Brendan Peary has 19 goals, 2 assists. Over 90% of his points have come from goals. The next best in the league is Jason Zucker. He has 78.3% of his points from goals. He has an 18-5 ratio, but Brendan Peary, 19-2, he'd win the Cy Young going away.
Yeah.
Well, he's in some all-time numbers with the 19 goals and only 2 assists.
He'd get more assists if the goaltenders made saves on him because it'd be rebounds and somebody else could score. But the goaltenders are not making saves on Brendan Peary.
Upshaw all over David Booth. And the Anaheim Ducks with a goal with the goaltender pulled with 40 seconds left have tied the Boston Bruins late in the third at 2. How about that? The Panthers 4 points behind Boston.
That is some really good news. Now we need Anaheim to pull it off.
I love it when Lindsay gets greedy. Why not? Come all the way back. Panthers will be in Boston.
Win in
next
regulation.
Tuesday.
Win in regulation, Anaheim.
30 seconds left.
Where are you, Corey Perry?
Ottawa still down 5-1 of the Rangers, so the Panthers, should these scores hold up, would gain 2 points on the Senators and be 3 behind them. Jimmy Hayes out at center, a one-time Leafs draft pick. Mitchell gets back. And Alex Petrovic finds Peary. Petrovic jumps up. Peary shoots in. Big hop off the end boards. Trocheck bearing down. It's Peary again. Trocheck. And now Hayes. This line's been good tonight in the offensive zone. Lindstrom able to play it. Nice knockdown by Hayes, but it does squeak out to center. And Morgan Rielly leads a 3-on-2. Riley cuts in. Riley tucks it in front and they score. And Toronto gets on the board. With 10:47 left, it's a 2-goal game.
Now, the one thing you've noticed throughout this hockey game is that the young defensemen, they take a lot of chances, but then again, very few defensemen have the kind of wheels that you see on Riley or Gardner. And Riley right here, you see what he's capable of doing. Highlight reel type goals because really tremendous skating ability. He'll take his chances, he'll get burnt. But boy, that is a pretty fancy and neat goal by a young defenseman with great wheels.
Riley sets it up, and Carrick gets the first goal of his NHL career.
Yep.
And Boys with a steal, trying to answer back. Glove save by Reimer. You know, they nearly had a good chance there. That Trocheck line, Denny, in the offensive zone, but the Leafs came back in transition in that little 2-on-1 development for Toronto.
There's that shot right there. Quick return. Boy, that would have been something else. Florida Panthers have made a habit of coming back after being scored on. I mean, this is not a game that Florida Panthers want to let slip away, so getting the next goal would certainly be huge for the Panthers.
We talked about at the intermission how big that third goal was by Peary. It looms huge right now as it's a 2-goal game. Brad Boyes down low, working. And Boyes gives to Jokinen, gets slammed to the wall by Brewer. Bozak for Van Riemsdyk. Now it's Kulikov. Back at his own end. Kessel put the pressure on. Bozak sets up Van Riemsdyk. Big kick, save Luongo. Here comes Huberdeau and Boyes trying for a 2-on-1. Huberdeau moves in. Huberdeau in front. Goes back to the net. Barkov on the backhand. Reimer's down and it's under him.
Oh. The presence of mind for Barkov just to get that backhand in there. Didn't really know where Reimer was. Reimer did come up with a save.
It's a 3-1 Panther lead midway through the third period. Panthers trying to hold on and get their 2 points. In the playoff race, the Washington Capitals, they won in overtime. The Ottawa Senators are losing 5-1. The Bruins, you see, go to 85 points because they are now in overtime. There's still another point available. The Anaheim Ducks are on the power play right now in Boston in overtime. So Panthers, either way, if they can hold on, will pick up some points on Ottawa, assuming the Rangers don't lose a 4-goal lead with 9 minutes to go. And if Boston goes down in overtime, the Panthers could pick up a point on them. We'll keep you updated. Here are the Leafs getting on the board in the third. They've had a little jump after Riley set up Carrick for his first NHL goal. Panik puts it in front. Luongo, a big save on Kozin. Another shot, Luongo again. Panthers need to pick it up. Luongo coming up big here in the third. Able to keep it at a 2-goal lead. Campbell settles things down, and now it's Aaron Ekblad. Gets the red line and throws it in the zone. Upshaw after it. Sean Thornton jammed up by Brewer. Here comes Kozin again. He's been good tonight, Kozin. Van Riemsdyk trying to get around Petrovic. Van Riemsdyk was cut off, and he goes into the post, and the net got dislodged, so we get a whistle. Sunday, the first ever NASCAR Sprint Cup points race will be broadcast on Fox Sports 1. Coverage from Martinsville begins Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
You know, as you go on, these defensive face-off zones, these defensive face-offs are really, really important. And there's going to be some line changing and mixing and matching. And right now, Jared Gallant has chosen Bolin to go in and take the face-off.
Van Riemsdyk feeds the point. The shot comes through wide.
He lost that clean to Bozak, who's very strong on the face-off.
Jokinen try to chip it out, but Van Riemsdyk holds it in. So the Leafs have not gone away and hidden in the third. They were down 3-0. They've gotten one and put a little pressure on. Bolin just throws his body in there. Toronto able to work it free. Here comes Kessel. Speeding in, cuts to the middle. Takes a shot. Luongo got a piece of it. They're still in overtime in Boston. The Bruins killed off that 4-on-3 power play for the Anaheim Ducks, so they remain tied. Offside the call here on Toronto.
You know, the coaches like Gerard Gallant will tell you exactly, don't worry about what the other guys are doing. It's all about us. The Florida Panthers needing 96 points. That's exactly what Gerard Gallant said this team would need to get to the playoffs, or at least in there, pretty close. I agree with that. 9 games left, including tonight. That means we got to win 8. So the Panthers have a very slim margin of error, and you don't want to make that error here in Toronto.
It's all over now in Boston. The Ducks win. So the Bruins only get 1 point. The net is dislodged again on Luongo, second time. So the Panthers up 3-1 now, Denny. 8:03 to go. Ottawa's down 4 goals in the third. The Bruins lost a late lead. They only get 1 point. This could be a huge night for the Panthers heading into the weekend if they can close this game out.
I tell you what, I really feel that if you wanted to write the script and you were saying this is the kind of road trip that we're going to have as our last road trip of the season, considering the situation you're in, being able to face Boston and Ottawa head-to-head, 4-point games they call them, got to be huge in favor of the Florida Panthers. And certainly a win in Montreal would be a bonus. But first, they've got to take care of business right here in Toronto.
Well, Jágr and Barkov are out. Huberdeau with them. And Jágr gets a D. See if they can spend a little time here in the Toronto zone. Haven't been able to do much of it in the third. David Booth goes the other way. Kulikov with a beat on him. Great stick by Kulikov. Here comes Barkov. Moving in over the line. Jágr's the trailer. Barkov will shoot. Saved by Reimer. Jágr picks it up. Try to stuff it home. But a whistle in that net was dislodged. And we get a stoppage of play.
Well, get good plays at both ends of the rink. Kulikov making a good defensive play to get things going for the Florida Panthers. There you see right here, right side. Just a little poke check. Keep that stick on the ice. And then it goes right the other way. What you just saw there is one of those indications of a team speed. If you're able to make a turnover like that, you create it like Kulikov did, and you can turn up ice real fast. That's what those big teams are doing. That's what the Rangers do so well. Montreal and the Tampa Bay Lightning. They can turn it over on real fast. Get to the net with an opportunity.
Derek McKenzie spins it back deep for Upshall. Upshall, good work, got tripped up there, pops back up. Carrick is all over him. Thornton now gets into the act. Hard-working shift by the McKenzie line here in the third. By the way, it was Ryan Getzlaf with the game winner for the Ducks. Ekblad takes the wrister, just missed wide.
Talk about your best players being their best. It was Corey Perry who tied it up.
And amazing, the Panthers blew out the Anaheim Ducks twice this year. 6-2 both games.
Well,
funny how matchups go, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Well, the Panthers have played extremely well against the good teams this year. Here's an icing call on the Cats. So I asked both you guys, Billy, Denny, where's the Bruins psyche right now? You know, you talk about a Boston team that loses a game like that. They had a 2-1 lead in the final minute.
Fragile.
Yeah,
It's like crystal glass right now, and there's a little earthquake going on. It's shaking and rolling right there in Boston.
But then again, I tell you what, I mean, if you're taking odds before the game, it's going to be, you know, in Anaheim, basically you're going to be able to favor Anaheim. But listen to this. You know how after 20, 25 games we talk about how important it is while the Florida Panthers have the timeout. Let me tell you this, 7 of 8 teams in the Eastern Conference that were in a playoff position at Thanksgiving are still in a playoff position. The change, Toronto was in the playoff position at Thanksgiving, and it's the New York Rangers that have taken their place.
Wow.
How amazing is that?
Yeah.
So next year, if the Florida Panthers are in a playoff position at Thanksgiving, that is a really good thing. And you know what? If you go out west, it's very similar out west in the Western Conference. So the teams after 25 or so games that have put themselves in playoffs seldom give up those spots.
Here we go after the timeout. Gerard Gallant wants to see his team close this out in style here. Leafs have had some pressure in the third. Campbell gets the clear. Upshaw gets the red line and the dump in. Panthers get the change. All three teams, the Panthers, Senators, and Bruins, off till Saturday. The Panthers will be in Montreal. Ottawa will be here in Toronto. And Boston will play the Rangers.
You know what? Toronto still has that ability to score. And now with the goaltending situation in Ottawa, maybe getting back to what normal is for the Hamburglar and Chris Granger, maybe things change considerably. Or you might see Anderson come back into the fold.
Komarov leads the rush, but it's offside as the puck was deflected and came out of the zone. 5:46 left, and the Panthers with a 2-goal lead in Toronto. Scoreless first period, the Panthers got to work in the second, and Jonathan Huberdeau with a great shot opening the scoring.
This is the second period where the Florida Panthers really took over, and it was right from the very beginning. That line has been so dominant, and it gives the Panthers a lot of confidence. And how about the confidence of a young Kemper who comes in and buries one top shelf. And then, well, the Magic Man. Everybody else is going top shelf. Brandon Pirri goes 5-0 to give the Florida Panthers the 3-1 lead.
Look at Pirri on a tear.
Yep.
They chase Jonathan Bernier from the game. Reimer has not given one up. You see the power plays. The Panthers haven't had one, but they've been perfect again on the penalty kill. And the Panthers trying to finish this game off and win 3 out of 4 this season from the Maple Leafs and pull closer in the playoff race.
And the Panthers during this stretch drive, they haven't always gotten the results, but Coach Gerard Gallant said, we've been really good the last 17 games. Consistent hockey. They've played consistently hard almost every single game down the stretch, even though the results haven't always been there.
Well, you look at 3 weeks, and you're right, Billy. The only games the Panthers haven't gotten points in was the goalie game against the Leafs when Luongo and Montoya got hurt. And then the 3 one-goal losses to the 3 best teams in the East in Montreal, the Rangers, and Tampa. Games they easily could have and maybe should have won. Pirri gets his stick knocked out of his hands, and it goes flying and thrown over the boards by the Leafs. A fan caught it in the 5th row, and Pirri's wondering where's the penalty. You got to give that man that stick back, by the way. Don't be taking Brandon Pirri's stick. You can't do that, can you?
And he'll want it back, I would assume.
That's what I mean. Give that kid a puck, give him a helmet, whatever. I mean, look at that. Panik just flipped the stick right up into the stands.
I don't think he's getting that stick back.
And the refs are going to discuss it. I mean,
Well, come on. It's so obvious.
obvious penalty, but no,
Please.
look at Pirri.
Please.
Can he get this stick back and they exchange it?
Yes, you can get that stick back if you want it as a
Well,
player.
really? How?
100%.
Billy,
How
why
are you
don't
going to get it, Billy?
Bill
You just go
Lindsay.
ask. You just go ask and go ask for your stick back.
Billy, you gotta go grab that thing for Pirri, man.
Whatever. You don't want to have
mean,
anyone to have his sticks. As you said, Goldie, those things.
If Pirri stops scoring, I'm going to blame you, Lindsay. You better go get that.
That kid better be careful. He might burn his hands on that stick.
Billy, give the kid $20. Get the stick back, man.
Well, Brandon Pirri's already got another stick, so he doesn't seem to mind.
All right.
And now he certainly can't get it. They give him a stick to a young man who is getting an applaud from the fans. Boy, now you'd be a monster if you went to get that stick back. There it is right there. There's no way you're going to take that stick back.
And they are going to call a penalty after all that
yeah,
discussion.
really.
It was an obvious one.
Oh,
so,
no. Whoa, what's going on?
well, Panik went in. Now Panik's coming back. He's going to the dressing room.
What is this, major penalty? There's 5:08 remaining in the third.
Let's
He
check
might have
with
got, you know what? He might have gotten a 10-minute misconduct.
That may be it, yeah.
Maybe he yelled at the referee or said something. We'll find out. But I'm sure the Panthers are going to come out of this with a power play. Be their first one tonight.
You don't see many sticks intact wind up in the 5th row of the stands in the NHL. Gerard Gallant, who really, no complaints. The referees are human, but he hasn't gotten a call all night. Wants to know what's going on. It is a 10-minute misconduct
come
on Panik.
You've got to also give him a minor. I think he's not getting a minor. Could that be possible? Could it be possible he's not getting a minor penalty on that one? You know, if you take somebody's stick on the ice and throw it to the corner,
I mean, he has lifted
you get
it.
a penalty. This was exactly the same thing.
No penalty.
No penalty, just a 10-minute misconduct. Wow. I just don't understand that. My, oh my, that is very strange. And they had to confer to get the 10-minute misconduct.
So we're even strength. Less than 5 minutes to go now. Here in the third.
That baffles me more than anything. I've seen some strange things, but not to call a minor penalty on that is very odd.
Luongo leaves it for Aaron Ekblad. All three Panther goals came in the second. Here's Boys up the middle. Goal in the trailer. Boys smart and safe. Just gets it deep for Jokinen. Boys battling. Boys steals from Riley. Puts it in front. Boland shipped it. Boland again. Swings it back around the boards. Kessel able to clear. Ekblad back defensively ahead of Van Riemsdyk. There's someone from Air Canada Center Security having a conversation with the kid that has Peary's stick. Now we get a whistle and the puck deflected out of play.
Well, I know there are some players that are very superstitious about their sticks and what goes on. So
it's a long conversation with the usher or security man. There it is, and not sure if he's saying, "Hey, give me the stick," and the Panthers going to give you whatever you want because Peary's got to get that stick
booed.
back.
He's getting booed.
Well, they'll replace it with something else.
Of course they will.
But
yeah.
Brandon Peary, yes. I know as a player, if you're as hot as he is, the net is empty right now. But if you're playing well, you want your sticks that have been working well for you.
The Leafs have pulled the goaltender here. How about this? With 3:53 to go. So Peter Horacek not giving up on this game, and they win the face-off and a penalty. It's interference. They interfered with Scotty Upshall, and now the Panthers will get the call on a power play for the first time tonight.
Oh, boy.
Phil Kessel will go to the penalty box. You haven't mentioned his name very much tonight, have you, Goldie?
Quiet second half of the season for Kessel.
Well, with the way things were going, I didn't really think this would be called a penalty either. Kessel in a battle for the puck, he gets called for interference. So to the benefit of the Florida Panthers, now they have their power play, their first one tonight, and of course, goaltender James Reimer's back in goal.
And that's the big key. They don't give the Leafs that man advantage. They get one. It's a one-goal game, and anything could happen. And the Panthers on the power play here late in the third. Ryan Campbell. Komarov with a steal. Deflects in front. Oh, boy. And Barkov will settle things down with 3.5 to go. Here's Jágr. Has an assist tonight. But it's taken by David Booth. Booth trying to get on his horse after it. And Booth gives it to Barkov. Barkov to center. Hands to Huberdeau. Knocked off his stick. Huberdeau back on the puck again. Knocked away again. The Leafs will be thinking offense here. Lead pass. Kozin flips it in front. Booth from the sharp angle hit the outside of the post. Halfway through the Panthers' first power play of the game. It comes late in the third. Nothing doing yet. Jokinen, cross ice for Hayes. Couldn't get the redirection. Van Riemsdyk knocked away by Jussi Jokinen. McWilliam pressured by Jokinen. And Boyes steps in. Good work again by Jokinen and Boyes. Now they're finally set up on the man advantage. Steven Kampfer has won the night. That's right where he scored it from, too. Boyes, holding. Hayes, and Boyes play a little catch. Kulikov, too far for Boyes. Hayes there to clean it up. Trying to lose Phaneuf. McWilliam jams him up. Boyes again, fights off the Phaneuf check. Sets up Kampfer for a quick shot saved by Reimer. And Van Riemsdyk goes to center. Flips in. Camper. Got a stick on it. Power play is over. Morgan Riley up at the line. Reimer's headed to the bench. There's a shot. Hit Van Riemsdyk in front. The net is empty the other way. Here comes Brandon Peary. It doesn't matter what stick. Bingo! Peary's second of the night, his 20th of the year, and the Panthers are up 4-1.
And you know, he's scored so consistently that you kind of forget at times that this is only the second time this season that he has had a multi-goal game. He scores every game, but this is only the second time that he will have a 2-goal game. Brandon Peary getting a second, as you see, in the open net. Strong play by the Florida Panthers to get the puck out of the zone. And Brandon Peary wasn't about to miss the 4x6.
17 goals in his last 22 games. Unbelievable. And Peary gets the Panthers' third goal and then the fourth one.
And the Toronto native has a couple goals. And he told me, I'm not sure if this is accurate, but this is the first time that he's got to play here in front of friends and family.
Wow.
Well, he sure showed them something, except for the little boy, of course.
So what a homecoming for him to have all these people and fans in the building and to get a couple goals on the board. This will be a night that he will remember forever.
I wonder if that was the stick that was flipped into the stands. They get it to him quick enough.
Yeah,
Hopefully not, because then there's no debate. Here he comes again. Peary has two, throws one on goal, and Reimer forced to make the save. So on a night, the Ottawa Senators lose in regulation. The Boston Bruins only get 1 point. They lose in overtime. On what we called the other night, the Super Thursday, the Panthers are going to pick up points in the playoff race, and they will be 3 behind both Ottawa and Boston after tonight.
And Anaheim with that 1-goal win, and you mentioned the 2 blowout wins the Panthers had against Anaheim.
Yeah.
It's amazing. They have a +8 goal differential due to the Anaheim Ducks. That's the worst of all 16 playoff teams. But in 1-goal games, they are 31-7 on the season.
Amazing.
Just an amazing number. So they either win close or get blown out, as the Panthers were able to blow the Ducks. But they get another big 1-goal game against Boston tonight that helps out the Panthers a ton. And the Panthers have a super effort here in Toronto. So the playoff race alive and well for the Panthers for the time being.
Almost as good as it possibly could be on this Thursday night. Panthers go to Montreal. We'll discuss all of it in Panthers Live postgame coming up right after this one with 15 seconds to go. Boys gets it deep in a rare game where in the final seconds, we're not biting our nails, the edge of the seats, a 3-goal lead for Florida. Roberto Luongo, his 399th NHL win. And the Cats are alive in the playoff race in the Eastern Conference. 4-1 the final.
And what the Panthers have done so well in the past couple of weeks is play very strong middle periods. And they did it again tonight, getting 3 of their 4 goals in the middle period, period number 2, to distance themselves from the Toronto Maple Leafs and take control of this hockey game. Now a day's rest, off to Montreal, and a huge weekend as this trip continues.
There's Brandon Peary, a couple of goals here tonight as the victorious Panthers head off. We'll have the update, the scores, the standings, preview what's coming up. We'll hear from the locker room. All ahead in Panthers Live. For tonight, the Panthers bounce back after a heartbreaking 1-goal loss over in Tampa. Roberto Luongo and the Cats come through against the Maple Leafs. 4-1 the final. The postgame show is next.